All right, we're talking, I hope, right, about challenging behaviors, because nobody has any, right, just in case they may happen to swing by. Yep. I remember when I was little, there was one kid who didn't listen. I dated him when I was 16. My mom wasn't that happy about it. But there was one kid who didn't listen. Everybody else sort of like fell in line and got in line and did what they needed to do, and now you get one kid who listens, right? And all the other ones don't listen. And you're like, oh my gosh, I went into a school in New Hampshire. I went in and the teacher was like, I'm so glad you're here. We're having such a hard time. I was there for like 35 seconds. Someone pulled the shelf over, someone hit another kid, someone pushed, someone bit. And she's like, what do I do? And I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed and I'm your help. She's like, it's hard, right? I was like, why do you still work here? Like, every place is hiring everywhere. Everywhere. If you decided to leave where you're working, there are Facebook pages and stuff on websites, and everybody is, I'll leave places, they're like, you know anybody hiring? No. I mean, anybody looking for a job? No. Everybody's looking. And this poor girl was like, it's so hard. And I was like, yeah, and I left there like, whoa! Oh my gosh, it was so hard. And I thought, everybody has to go home. Out of 23 kids, like 18 of them were hard. And I thought, nobody was helping her, and I'm the help. I'm the help, which comes in 2 hours every other week. That's not very helpful. I know that's not helpful, right? I taught kindergarten, so I probably had this job. We called it kindergarten, right? The kids right before they go to kindergarten. We had a wraparound school, so you could either go to kindergarten in public school and come to us in the afternoon, or come to us in the morning and go to them in the afternoon. So we had a bus service and all that stuff. So we were called kindergarten, but it was in a childcare setting. And I remember thinking, I know it's hard because I know people come, I go to you with help. I realize I'm in 2 hours. And then I'm like, peace out, Girl Scout. And I get to go, and like, after this I get to go home and do work for my house, but I live on the beach. Like, right, I mean, that's great. I know that, and I think that's why people ask me to do workshops and ask me to help, because I know when I leave, you still have Joni who's going, oh, and peeing in the corner and doing all this. And I'm like, I know he's still there, right? And I leave. And that's why I always say, like, text me. I say that to parents, I say that to schools. If we're in this together and we're already partners, text me. Like, you just left. I've had people chase me to the parking lot. He's having a hard time, come back in! Like, okay. So I go back and I'm like, hi, I wasn't leaving, actually, here again. So, I have a behavior club that's on, well, it's in person. I'm doing one in Hampton and Exeter, New Hampshire. But I also have it on my Facebook page under the empty Toolbox. There's a behavior club, and I put a thing today that said, what is the strategy you either learned in school or learned in a book or learned from other educators that don't work? And I posted it, like, I got here early, so I was in the shady spot up the street somewhere. I don't know, up there somewhere. And I posted it, and by the time I got here, 6 people had answered. Things like taking away outside time. No. You were making your life so hard if you were taking away outside time. Like, yeah, okay, first of all, you can't go out, you gotta stay in. And then you send them to the secretary who's not really sure what to do with them, so they get what? Coloring pages or Play-Doh or Legos, and they're like, oh, yeah. But they also haven't let their energy out, so when do they do that? At math time, or at circle time, or at playtime, and they're like, right? They're thinking like, yeah, but I get to go inside. So another one of the strategies that people learn in school is ignore the behavior. Just ignore it. It'll be fine. Just ignore it. And I'm like, how many people, if you were trying to get some sort of attention because you were having trouble, you wanted someone to pay attention to you because you had something great to say, because you were angry, and you got ignored, what would you do?
Get even more upset.
Get even more upset and heighten your behavior. It's rare that I see kids go, oh, she's ignoring me because I'm probably being too hard. So I think I'll just take a deep breath. I can't do that now at 40. You think a 3 6 months, stop it. So ignoring behavior is not something we're going to do ever. And there's a difference between not giving behavior a lot of attention and ignoring it. Ignoring it is like, I've had teachers like this. We're not paying attention to that behavior. We're ignoring it. I'm like, okay, but it's going to get worse. No, that's what I was told to do. By whom? Who told you to do that? Don't stop it. Whoever told you to do that, I think people like throw out strategies and you're like, and a lot of people are like, you went out of my school, in my house, with my kids, right? That's a lot. You see that on Facebook, like, I have a 7-year-old who is this. And I'm like, oh, and then I see, just ignore the behavior. If you don't pay any attention to it, I want to like message that person and say, you're probably going to think I'm strange and weird and crazy, and I'll own it. But please don't do what person number 5 said. Because it's what? Ignore the behavior. Don't ignore it. There's a reason, right? There's always a reason for behavior. We're always trying to figure out why. And if it's to give the kid attention, he's looking for attention, what do we do? Give the attention. Be as open as saying, dude, I know you want attention. I'm right here, right now, so you could hold my hand, you could stay close. But kids don't know how to do it positively, so what they do, go right to negative. I've had 15-year-olds go to negative. I see adults go to negative. I've been known to go to negative in my past days. Like, I know, I've seen a 15-year-old be obnoxious because she wanted the teacher's attention. And she was obnoxious. And I thought, and they were like, we are just ignoring that. And I was like, it is going to get harder, not easier for you. So that I do not like. It doesn't work, right? Aren't we trying to figure out things that happen, that work in the real world? I also am not a big fan of sticker charts or reward systems because we are, for many reasons. One is that we want kids to be intrinsically motivated to do the right thing, not extrinsically motivated, because then you get this kid who says, all right, it's time to clean up. What do I get? You get a clean room that you can feel good about, because this is a community here. But right, if we keep stickering kids or giving them things, they're going to turn their shoulder and ask, what do I get to do it? You will also, in sticker charts at 3, may be cute, and if you're on Pinterest, right, there's 4,000 million trillion billion pages of how to make a sticker chart beautiful. It's not, in the real world, it doesn't work. And a lot of it is in bathroom toileting. I know that I have a 6-year-old boy, son, and I was like, I am going to potty train him, and there's going to be 0 stickers. There's not going to be any reward, and I did it, and he's potty trained, and he pees in the potty. But, right, we're trying to do all this stuff so fast, because to get from one class to the other, you have to be potty trained, and then parents are like, oh, but now we're trying to control what we can't control. We can't control pee and poop coming out. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Everybody go! You can't do that. But now we're saying you have to, because they have to come to another side of the room, or to come to upstairs, or to come to older toddlers or older preschool. You have to be potty trained. So now parents are like, so they're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, which for some temperaments, which we're going to talk about today, resist and resist and resist, and they'll figure out how to hold it, which causes problems later on in life. And also, when you're sticker charting 3-year-olds, well, what does that look like at 15? If 15-year-olds are like stickers? No, you're paying out cash. You're paying out helicopters and ponies and sports cars, and right? By the time they get to 15, if they're externally motivated, what happens? You know, my friend next door, who's my best friend growing up, she got $5 for an A. My mom did not do this, but her mom said she could have $5 for an A, and I think in today's world, would any kid work a whole semester until they got their report card? Right from September to when do you get report cards? November? December? So you're going to work that whole time for $5? No! Nobody's working for $5. You probably don't have 3-year-olds that would work for $5 anymore. My son now, he wants to save for a Jeep for when he's 16. He's 6.
No.
Like, talk about planning for it. I have squirrels that live in my head so that 10 years from now, no idea. I'm banking on still doing this and being alive. That's what I got for 10 years from now. But he wants a Jeep. And so my mom would say, but I have a paying job for you. My mom will have help, my mom owns her own business, so he'll help her organize things. And so my mom will go and give him $2, and he's like, Nadia, I was hoping for $4. And he's already negotiating the dollars. And I was like, yeah, dude. And I was like, Mom, you can say no. But I like that he's negotiating in a way that is appropriate and proper. And if my mom says, no, the job is $2, you can have $2 or not have $2, then he'll get the $2. But right, he's starting negotiating at 6 in life. He also has a girlfriend. Hi. So we're not doing rewards, we're not doing, there are some kids who would like to, that would work for an incentive, but the incentive is something they pick, the incentive is something that they want to earn, that they get to decide if they get it, which that automatically for a lot of people are like, well, no, I get to decide. And I was like, well, if you decide, then it's external motivation. Right, so this 15-year-old that was having a hard time in class, she said to me, I had the TV on and I was watching and this kid did all these things and he got stickers. And I was like, oh gosh, where are you going with this? And she said, so I'd like to try a sticker chart. And I was like, really, all the things that I don't like to do, that's like number one. That's probably number two, hurting kids physically and emotionally, number one. But sticker charts, I'm like, oh, that's right up there. But she said, I will work for puffy stickers. I'm at Michael's or ACO or whatever that. And I'm like, look at all the puffy stickers, put them in my basket, being like, oh, so mad. She makes pigs, she likes pigs, so she has 6 pigs, because she has to earn 4 out of, no, she decided 3 out of the 6 pennies that we put sparkles on. That went on the pig bellies, because the pig was like this. And it had like a big belly, and so she put the penny on it if she had to be 3 things. Participate in class appropriately, be responsible and respectful. And if she thought she did that from 9 to 10, she could put the penny on the belly. I didn't like any of it. I mean, I liked the sparkles, I liked that she thought of it, but it worked. And why did it work? Because she decided that she liked it. And she wanted to do it, and she implemented the whole thing, created a treasure chest. She knew, like, okay, so I have to get 3 out of the 6, so every 3 she would put like a little mark, so she knew, like, she would get the sticker. She knew what sticker she was working for next in the treasure chest. She didn't cheat, like, nobody was really watching her because she's 15 or 15 to figure out. Nobody watched her to see if she could pick out 2 or 3 stickers, but she didn't ever. And it worked enough for her to at least think through what she was doing. And that's what she needed to do. She needed that power of the pause for her was really short, so she would get mad and really fast. And she said when she's mad, she needed loud voices, so she would bang on stuff and yell, because that's how it would come out with her. And everybody found that really tricky and hard and loud, but that is how she calmed down. So at least it gave her a chance. She wanted those stickers so bad. She was emotionally stunted at about 5 years old, which makes sense, right? She worked for puffy stickers, because a lot of 15-year-olds are working for not even iPad time. They're working for iPads or phones, or so it worked for her, and that's the only one I've ever done that has been successful-ish because she was in charge of it, but I don't like any of it. So a lot of contributing factors to things we find challenging in children and in others comes from temperament. So you get your temperament, 55% you get from heredity and genetics. So I asked my husband one time, I was like, you know what I was called today? And my husband was like, what? Because I'm always called beautiful things, because 3 and 4-year-olds have very expressive language. But this was from an adult. And they said, you have such intensity. And I was like, people now call it passion, because I think that's the pretty fluffy word for it. I don't know. And I said to my husband, I said, do you think I'm intense? And he just went, and I said, I asked my mom, who lives directly across the lawn from me, I said, I asked my mom if I was intense, and she said, you're not intense. My husband goes, that's because your mother is intense. And I was like, Like, she doesn't see it. I don't see it. My husband, Britt, did you see it in 5 minutes? Like, probably the minute I walked in and I said something. People see it so fast in me. For 37 and a half years, I didn't see it. I didn't see my intensity. I thought it was me being friendly, that you would want to be friends with me. And then I see people that are like, next year. Like, is she going yet? Did she see me? Some people are overwhelmed by how loud and close and vibrant I am. Which is true. That's just, I try. Sometimes I try to be really quiet to see if people will think I'm a different way. I haven't done it one time in 7 years. I just can't. I'm like this all the time. With drinks, without drinks, in the morning, at night. Like, you'll never know when I've had too much to drink because well, you would, because right, as you get older, you get sleepy. And I'll be like, can I just lay down right here in the booth? So, the other three contributing factors, the two contributing factors are role model and experience. So, right, that 55% is nature. I got the pieces in me. And then the other two pieces are nurture, right? And that's 45%. So, if we look at kids, we want to look at the temperament piece for behavior. And what we're going to talk about today is, I'm still mad, and it's a shame that I have a master's in early childhood education, and I went through it and I didn't learn any of this. But if you're the CEO of a company and you're in charge of sales or managing others, you learn this model because they're like, that's how you work with other people. Well, why don't we know it? Why isn't it in our classes? So a lot of people at the end of this workshop are mad, like, why is this the first time I heard it? I taught kindergarten for 10 years, I had no idea. Then I went to behavior, I was like, oh, it's the pattern, right? So before we look at the pattern, we have to know how to adjust, because I know I'm too much for kids. I'm too much for some. I had one little girl who would come in every day behind her mom's leg. I'm like, you're here! We've been waiting for you! The poor thing was like, I feel like I should call her and be like, hi, honey, it's Meg. Remember I taught kindergarten? I'm really sorry I was a spaz. She knew I was bonkers. I thought it was funny. I think she thought it was not as funny as I thought it was. She was scared. Like, why does she have to run to me? Can't she just be? She wanted me to be in the other room and be like, I never once did that. So if I had 300 kids out of my 10 years, I don't know how many it was. Say it was 150. I should probably call half of them. I'm sure I overwhelmed half of them. And I didn't know until I went into behavior. I thought, oh, yeah, okay, whoops, whoopsies. And I think some kids see me now and they're like, you're so crazy. Where I was fun, right? The kids who wanted fun and excited, but the kids who were just quiet and academic and wanted me to read nonfiction books. Can you read this whale book? No. This is a humpback whale, and it is 4,000 feet long. And I don't know, I can't. Get me a Dr. Seuss book. I read them all. Well, I can't. Watching my husband read Dr. Seuss. So first thing we have to look at is, are we alike or not alike? So the hardest person for us is the one just like us. For me, I am star of the show. If I have a kid who is star of the show, but I am not aware of who I am, how many stars of the show can there be? One. Right? There's one lead in the play. I'm the lead. If that kid also wants to be the lead, I know, because I'm an adult and I do this for a living, I can back out. They can't. They don't know how to do that. Right? It's the kid that'll like show their underwear, that'll like wear sparkles and tiaras, and I had all the glitter stuff on in the dramatic play. Wednesdays when I taught kindergarten was glitter day, and I had sparkle, like full sparkle shirts, and I had a Michael Jackson sparkle coat, and like obnoxious. And the kids, I would come in with my North Face coat zipped up, like the long, the long ones, and they'd be like, what do you have on for sparkles? What do you have on for sparkles? And I'd be like, yeah! And they'd be like, whoa! And I brought them in and put them in dramatic play, and they all wore them. Then there were some kids, I didn't notice at the time, but now there were some kids that were like, sparkle day. Oh, I'm sure they would roll their eyes, but I didn't know that's what they were doing. I was like, oh, they're probably sick. So the kids just like me can be the hardest for me. The ones hardest for me actually are the ones that are my opposite. So that's the second hardest for me. So the ones that are do not need my humor or engagement or charisma, I have a hard time with. The funny thing is I also married that. I married that temperament. Right, in adult relationships, we pick the person least capable of meeting our needs. Right? So you pick the person, right? Can you see I need adventure and spontaneity and excitement? You see it? I married tall and handsome. Granted. Slow, quiet, boring. Right? But I tried to date me, and I thought, oh, you are so annoying. Like, they were trying to be in the spotlight, and I was like, I need you to sit over there and drink a beer. And I was like, yeah, that one. Got him. Broke up with him. We broke up for like a little. Broke up with him. I moved to California. I thought, oh, that's not fun. I moved back and I got married. And we have a little boy who is, actually has my husband's temperament. He is more reserved with my humor and energy. So, it looks not so reserved. But he's a sweet, sweet boy, for sure. But it's still like, my husband and I look at each other, and it's not my husband. So my husband will look at me and go, so I know. And every time I make the joke, I'm like, I can't believe he gets that from you. It's so annoying. Because it's so mean. And Andy and I are trying to talk in between him, having conversations with, he thinks us, it's really himself. And he's just walking around like, Mommy, what I say, the minute you take a breath or sneeze or yawn, it's like, phew. And I did exactly that when I was little. Right? You're doing calendar and you're reading a book. At circle time, I have a story for every single page. You know that kid? We're talking about that kid. There's a story for every page. And you're like, we're reading that and have that 65 pages. Be quiet. They have no idea when to talk about, not to talk, that's me. So then imagine me with a kid who talks all the time, and I want to talk all the time, but I don't know that I'm the one who talks all the time. Right? I have a job where for 2 hours I get to talk all the time, and you have to sit there. I did it appropriately. Right? There's not a lot of back and forth going on. So people, when I do workshops, some people are like, don't do a lecture style. Oh no, I rock lecture style. Because it's sort of like comedy and lecture at the same time. And they were like, well, have group activities. I feel like in early childhood we have group activities where I like send you to do something. That activity never gets done. I have a hard time with, like, everybody have a pen? And then 20 minutes, people like, a pen? What does that look like? People like, just go to my cabinet. They're coming out with Crayola markers. And I was like, I still have a pen? And it's like 20 minutes of women, usually, trying to find pens somewhere. And I'm like, oh my word. If I really set you guys off into too many places, I mean, not you, 6, like big groups, they just get lost and you're like, come on! And then they keep talking like, yo! Zip it! And I have to like get to the part, right? Because they just keep going and going. Do we work well together? The opposites work better together. So if I have myself and I have someone just like me on my teaching team, and we are not aware of how I am seen and how I come off, and my co-teacher does not know how she is seen or how she comes off, we just get the kids that like us. What happens to the other kids who are like, oh, they're annoying, they don't have anybody else to go to, right? They don't have like, who, you know, you have kids, I'm sure, right? Some kids that will come to you. There are some kids that always go to the other teacher. Yeah. Well, wouldn't you like, I'm having a problem, do you have somebody you go to with the problem? Yeah. Right? You have the person that makes you feel best in a situation where you need help. Same with kids. But if you're both alike and you both act the same, one of you we say is not needed. So that's tricky because a lot of people, because me, if I had me, because I can adjust, it's so fun for me. But then I know, like I know if I went to like a workshop and I see people I know, they're like, come sit with me. Oh, love you, kisses. I can't. Because I'll sit next to you and like if I ever saw any of you 6-hour workshop again, and you were like, Meg, and I'm like, oh, that. I have to like sit by myself off in the corner. Because I'll just talk the whole time. And I'm not trying to be rude to the person up here, I just have a lot to say a lot of the time. Right? Do you have me as a little boy? Do you have little boys like me or little girls like me? Yeah. How do I accept and show love and care? So that's love languages, that's a whole different workshop, but there are some kids who like touch, you know, and they come for a hug, and you hug them, and then there are some kids you go for a hug, and they're like, right? I did that once when I taught kindergarten, and I went to the kid to hug him, and he punched me right in the neck. And when I went to talk to him, he thought for sure he was in trouble, and I was like, oh no, buddy, I came to you. He had a really tough upbringing. He was adopted. He was hurt when he was little, so I was like, it's going to be my job to make him feel good. And so I wanted to show him that touch can come in positive ways, and I did it too fast, because I'm fast-paced. So I did it too fast, and he got nervous and scared, and was not sure. I was not all the way on the safe side yet. I was kind of teetering on it, but not all the way there, so right here. And he looked at me like, right, the emotional brain took over, and he was just like, safety, oof. And I was like, oh. And my emotional brain like, oh, that hurts, right over. And when I talked to him, I was like, oh, that was my fault. He looked at me with saucer eyes like, what? It was whose fault? Your fault? And I was like, yeah, I should not have tried to hug you. I should have asked first, or I did not do that right. And he was just like, okay. And that let him know that I was all the way. And from that conversation on, I was on the safe side. By the end of the year, he was sitting in my lap and started looking in my hand. It was like one of the best things, right? When you see kids go from, do not come near me to, right? So he did have the love language of touch, but it was sort of messed up at the beginning of life. He wanted people close, but people who came close hurt him. So then he's like, don't come close, but I need that to fuel who I am. So it was really hard for him, right? He had like angel devil, he couldn't figure out what was going on. How do we learn together and where am I smart? So where am I smart? I'm smart with relationships, I'm smart with people. In school, you are never tested on that. I was tested on geometry. That's not where I'm smart. I cheated through geometry. I hope my teacher never watches this. Geometry teacher, because I cheated on him. He left the answers on the side of his desk like this. And I went and asked a lot of questions. We got all the answers. This is what I know in geometry. You ready? It's going to blow your mind. Circle, square, triangle, rectangle. That's all you need to know, kindergarten. Okay, wait. Learn this at 28 years old. That is not a diamond, it's a rhombus. Yep, that was a diamond. This, I'm already 35, is not an oval or an egg shape. It is the ellipse. Alright. I was like, and if I went to geometry this semester coming up, and I took it, I would still fail. And then if I took it next semester, if I took it every semester from the time I was 17 to the time I was 40, I would have failed every time, and I would not know more. I would have a strong weakness. It would never, geometry is never going to be my strength. That's not where I'm smart. Chemistry. Right? Who made the periodic table? It's not, right? Alphabetical order till I get to sophomore year in high school, and then what do we do it by atomic number? What the heck is an atomic number? Stop it. Oh, it's how many atoms are, I don't even know, how many atoms are in a, I don't know. And then you look at that, it's not perfectly square. Does that make anybody really mad? Like, it's kind of like, and the stairs are like, no, stop. I can't. And now what if you put number 35, number 28, it blows up. And I'm like, what? I don't, and then I see kids that I work with, and they're like, oh, I love the periodic table. And they recited it to me. From start number 1 to number, I don't know. Or nor do I care. But he did them all. And he was like, don't you love, my favorite one is, I don't think it was English, I don't know what it was. And I was like, it had too many vowels and consonants in a row to be English language. Same with dinosaurs, like why would you put all those vowels in one spot in the middle? I can't pronounce A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y together. Stop it. So where are these kids smart? If these kids are smart socially and emotionally, let's just do that. What if kids are smart math-wise? Yeah. What if kids are smart with art? Yeah. The thing is, we have to know how you're smart and then teach through that. Right? How did I get out of geometry? I figured out in my strength with relationships is how to copy the teacher but look friendly at the same time I'm getting the answers. Right? I used my strength to figure out how to get out of geometry. How did I get out of chemistry? The really smart boy who knew about atomic number 35 and 28. Somebody is going to know this when they see my video and they're like, those two go together. Someone is right is going to say 35 and 28, whatever those are. But he knew what they did and he knew all that stuff and he liked me. He said, "Will you?" Really nervous, like sweating. "You guys laugh, partner?" Hell yeah! Yes! And I wore a pretty dress and I combed my hair and I put on some mascara and I sat really close and touched his arm a lot, like, "Look at your earrings." Oh, that's what I said too. That's how I got out of geometry. Because it was very, my teacher was very task-oriented. There wasn't a lot of humor. It was very serious. And I remember going into chemistry like, oh, find a little friend, shit off him. It's also how I got out of astronomy in college. I thought it was going to be an easy A. Did anybody take astronomy? What? Not easy at all. And I thought, now how am I going to get out? So I brought, there's a kid on my track team, he never watches this either, and I would get a whole big sub and give him half because he had not eaten all day. So I used to give him half and he would save me a seat to sit next to him. And I got answers off him. Otherwise, what would happen? I would have failed geometry, failed chemistry, and failed astronomy, which means what? You can't, I would not have been able to graduate high school. So what do? Go to office hours, get help. I did all that. And I'm thinking like, I didn't get the geometry part. I got the algebra part, right? I could do algebra until like 7th grade. But I can't do geometry. My husband built houses. He gets geometry. He gets it. Because he's like, I said, what are you doing? He's like, the Pythagorean theorem. I can't spell that. It starts with a P probably. It ends with a Pythagorean. N. Probably ends in an N. I don't know. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Where are your A, B's, and C's? Oh, I have to find them from the dictionary here. And I'm like, put on my fire marshal bill anyway. Okay, I don't know what you're saying. Right? So we have to make sure we're teaching kids the way they learn best. There's some kids who learn through movement. So what does circle time look like? Not like this, not crisscross applesauce. Saw that the other day. See, crisscross applesauce. Reading a book like this. And the little girl put her legs out and lifted her dress up. She's 3, whatever. She's got underwear on, or if she didn't. Whatever. And put your dress down and say crisscross applesauce. I am not reading this book until you say crisscross applesauce. And I'm thinking like, what happens? Like why? Like, right, if you broke that down, why can't you? Because does crisscross applesauce make your ears work better? Is that research? Is there research that proves that? No! And she would say crisscross applesauce, and you watched her. We used to call it Indian style, right? I think that's not correct anymore. Right, well, probably not. Probably will get in trouble for that, too. So you sit crisscross applesauce, and you could see it was, like, uncomfortable for her. Like, she would sit, and she was like, and she'd like fall over. Her hips were not flexible enough to do it. And she just couldn't. And so she would straighten her legs because she was like, oh. And the story was boring. So there's another kid that I was there to watch on his head. And she was like, say crisscross applesauce. And I was like, just keep reading. Keep stop. Because then you're like reading to 3-year-olds and now you're stopping the book. So they've forgotten what's happening. When you're talking about crisscross applesauce, you go back to the book and they're like, forgot what happened on the last page, right? Because they're on to something now, right? They're in a different lesson. The classroom is their voice heard. If they're saying things like, I had a kid in kindergarten who used to do this. When it was a lot of people and we were getting dressed, he would go, this classroom is so tight. And everybody else would just keep walking. And I was like, oh, no. That's a whisper, right? We have to listen to the whispers before what happens. And you're thinking, what? That came out of nowhere. No, he said this classroom is tight, which means what? It's crowded and things are too close. If you come close to me, what am I going to do? I'm going to hit you. I already told you I was going to do that the way I know how to do it when I'm 5. So I've heard kids do that. I've had a kid end up on the ceiling before. Yeah, there were, it was a public school, there were pipes, and he climbed up the pipes and on the ceiling. Good for you. But he was giving all the whispers, and nobody was listening. He had a teacher like me, who he did not need a teacher like me. And she was loud, and she was abrupt. She was wonderful, and I loved her. It was not right for him. She didn't know to adjust who she was for him. Then he had a teacher, she was gone one day, I was in there observing, and he had a teacher that was a sub. And she just kept pushing him into the table, and everything was very structured, and it was matter of fact, and everybody knew what to do, and she wouldn't let anybody breathe or talk or do anything, sneeze quietly. And I was like, oh, I can't even, that teacher is not the one I need. For him, beautiful. He was like, yes. Yes. And I'm thinking like, lady, shake it up a little. But him, awesome. So like, right, that's hard. And why don't we get taught that? Because now I have to react differently for you, and now that classroom I talked about that has 30 kids, well, how do I do that for all of them? Luckily, we get to put them in groups, which we're going to learn about. What does the day schedule look like? Do kids know? Is it there? Because some kids come in, right, they were here on Friday, they were here on Monday was a holiday, Tuesday they're going to the llama farm on a field trip, and they walk in and they're like, oh, llama farm. What? I thought I was going to dramatic play like I had, right, the Legos in my head, or I have the tiara in my head. Now we're going to the llama farm? Like, did my mom's had a permission slip? Does she know where I'm going? I have a heat up, right, for the lunch, and we're going to be back. Where am I sitting? Did my mom leave my cursor right there thinking, wah! Because they don't know the schedule of the day. You know, kids, that my son wakes up every morning and asks me what kind of day it is. Is it a home day? Is it an Alicia day? Now he calls it Aurora day because Aurora's his girlfriend. Or is it camp day? He has to know and plan, and I tell him in the morning, at night, when he forgets by the morning time, and he needs to know. His favorite is always home days. No, most kids' favorite days are home days. Even if my friend Alicia's amazing and wonderful, he would rather stay home. Because he wants to be with us. I get it. Right, if you have a home where there's love and kindness and empathy, kids want to stay there with their parents. But then no one gets paid to be a mom, I wish. Figure out how that happens. I still would work. It's like, I would not be, right, my temperament is not stay-at-home mom material. I love to stay home, I love weekends, I love that it's Friday, I get to get home early today. I love that. All day long, all the time. My friend Alicia has homeschooled her 4 kids, and my kid is 5th. She loves being home. And now her 3 kids are going to be in school, and now she just has her little one, and she's like, what am I going to do for a job? And it's like, she's thinking about it. Because she likes to stay at home more. I was like, you got big babies. And 1. And I was like, wow, that was hard. Anybody have a baby and think, oh, that was harder than I thought? Yeah? Me? Yeah. Yeah. So I just had 1. And then I hang out with kids that are hard, but then, right, I get to peace out Girl Scout and go home to him. Sometimes I'm like, hey, back to work. That's why I joke, that's why I work on nights and weekends. Because how is the environment set up? So am I taken into account? Meaning, are the kids taken into account? Is there a quiet space for them to go and like, some kids walk in and think like, wow, that's so okay, I just need a place to like sit and chill and be by myself and have a minute to get acclimated to this. Are there tables where I can find a place where it's just me and another person, or I can be by myself? Or are there tables that are big enough so I can have all my friends at the table, right? Is there different options? Colors, what are the colors? Do I like the colors? Do they overwhelm me? Do they not overwhelm me? What do I want to do? What are my dreams? What are my interests? Are they in the classroom? So my son went to his school. He's going to a private school, it's an outdoor school in Exeter, which I'm so psyched about, which is why I'm so glad I had one, because I could pay for him to go. I never thought I would pay for him to go to first grade. That is never something I thought. And so he is going to go, and we went to like parents find out about what the project approach curriculum is like, and I already know, I went to check it out, and he went to play. And there's a front yard and a backyard. So the front yard, there's like a little pathway. He's halfway down the pathway, and he goes, and I was like, what, buddy? He goes, they have everything I love here. Just like, his head exploded, and he just went, and he went right into the backyard, and I was like, oh, it's so worth it, right? It's outside, there's swings and bugs, and we found a bug that died perfectly, like it should have been alive, like perfectly. You're not supposed to then put him in a thing and put a cover on because he got moldy. I didn't know that happened, but for the 2 days we had him before he was moldy, it was amazing, and he's like, Mommy, I'm going to bring this to school and show everybody. And then when he was moldy, we were like, we'll just tell him we had it. Nobody wants him moldy. And the other one had a maggot at it. Oh. Right? And I was like, oh, it's dead. He's like, no, it's alive. And he's like, put it in the garbage. Oh my God. I didn't know. I'm not I'll collect bugs and pick up bugs. I just didn't. I'm not a bugologist. What is that called? Someone's yelling when they watch this. And they're going to be like, bug scientist. The tongue that tickle my tongue. It's like a icky ecology, icky. No, that's a fish one. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Remember, I'm good with relationships. Yeah. I already told her I was good with science. And are there things closed? Are there places that are closed that you can't go into? Right? Legos are closed today, and the kid's like, that's the place I play. That's my spot. That's my building area. It's closed. Now what am I going to do? The Magnetiles is closed. I don't know why Magnetiles would ever be closed. Because every kid could have 1,000 Magnetiles, and they were not going to us. Those are the best invention ever, and I'm bummed that I did not make them. Those and Crocs with the jiggle pegs. I should make those too. So, now we're going to talk about temperament. It is a model for challenging behaviors, which is wonderful, but it's also a model for self-reflection. So, they both fall into this. It's called the DISC model. And there is an assessment you can take. You can email me. There's an assessment, an adult one, a kid one, a teen one. I've taken all of them. I've taken the free one, I've taken the long one, I've taken the kid, the teen, and adult. I've taken them from different companies. I come out the same way in all of them. Sort of my way of testing to see if it's the true way. But from this comes the pattern of human behavior. So now that I have this, and I know this, when I go to different places and someone's like, oh my gosh, I have this kid, and then they tell me the story of the kid, I walk around with this model in my head, which is going to end up looking like that, right? It looks like this. Goes around in a circle. So I have that quadrant in my head. Because I have it in my head, when you tell me stories, or I see things, you do things, or kids do things, I plump, not for judging purposes, but I plump to know like, oh. Like I know when I have a big group, there are some people, there was one guy at one time that sat right in front. He was hysterical, he had tattoos, he was funny. There was a girl over there that maybe smiled one time and said one thing, and it was like this. I'm like, hey, speaking to my buddy here, I have no idea what she was saying, right? So, it was, I can see, like, I hang out with this kid. That girl, if I was like to see her and hang out with her, I have to, right, like, be quiet. Because I knew she found me overwhelmed. She'd smile and giggle, but it was like, please don't call me out, please don't come near me. I'd like it when you're up here and I'm back here. I chose the back seat for a reason. You know, I can tell just when you come in, if you sit way in the back. If I'm in an auditorium, there's 50 people, but it seats 300 and you're way in the back, it tells me something about you that is not good nor bad. It's just helps me know who you are. Right? If you're not going to probably participate from the back seat when you have to travel down 45 stairs, right? So the first kid is this dominant, risk-taker, self-starter, strong-willed. Do they call it feisty? People will say it's the feisty kid. I don't use feisty because I'm feisty, and I think that's an endearing term for me, but not everybody thinks that way. So this kid, so do you know this kid who wants to be a leader? Do you know him? First, best, fastest? You know that kid? Wants to be first all the time in line. Right, so they're active, they're fast-paced, they're outgoing, they need a lot of movement. So what happens in nap time? What do? They lay down, what do? Lay down, go sleep. Lay down, go sleep. Lay down, go sleep. I'll cover you up. If you keep saying the same thing over and over again, expecting something different to happen, what is that called? Insanity, right? You say the same thing. This kid's like this in nap time. Like, they sit up and they're like, because that's when they need movement most, right? Because you kept them in from outside, because they were naughty. I hate that word, by the way. Naughty. They need to move. They're the kids who would run. It's the kid that you say 5 more minutes till cleanup. What happens? Right? Other kids are like, okay, 5 more minutes, they're playing. They're like dinosaurs in the sink, and they line up and they're like, first one. There are other kids like, isn't there 5 more minutes? This kid's like, right, but you gave me 5 minutes, which means get ready and get dressed and get first, best, fastest. They're competitive. You know that kid that's competitive? Wants to win everything. And you're like, well, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's just if you have fun playing the game. What? Good for me. So I have part of this temperament. This is the part of the temperament I did not know I had. So I have taken the assessment probably 17 times. This is what I do for work. So every year, every 6 months, I take it just to see if I'm still true and honest with myself. And so for the first 13 times, I came out these two, the I and the S. And this one was close to the midline. That's everything above the midline is the stuff that's strong and powerful in you that people would see. The things below the midline are there because you're a combination of all 4, but they're there. And they're just not as out loud as the other. And so I had these two turbo people skills, and I was like, yeah, that's me. But then I kept hearing about this intensity that people were intimidated by me, and I'm like, really? How would you be intimidated by me? I'm like, I still use poop and fart jokes, still at 40. Like, I don't know why you would do that. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. But then I kept hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. So then, on like the 15th time, this one came above the midline, and I thought, oh. So I asked people, I was like, people see my intensity, and people are sitting in the audience and smirking like this. Yeah. I didn't see it. I had no awareness that that's how you saw it. I thought I was being friendly, right? I thought I was using this one, which we were talking about next. I thought I was using the interactive piece. I was really using that determined part of me. Determined is the pretty word for stubborn, where you can't say, well, you're just so stubborn. It doesn't matter how you say it, what your body language looks like, and how fluffy you say it, what happens? What are you thinking? Screw you, lady! Right? You can't say that, but if someone's like, you're determined, I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm determined. Because I started, so I taught kindergarten. I was in my internship for a year. I stopped the internship to give birth to my son. Stayed home for 4 months because he was born in May. So May, June, July, and August, I stayed home, which was hard. And then I went back to work my first day. And I say that because I had 1 day of work lined up. And he went to school. He went to childcare. And in childcare, you know, you go or you don't go, but you still pay. It's still the same price at the end of the week. So I was like, well, you're going to go. Okay. So I'm like, now I'm at home doing eBay because I didn't have any other source of income and trying to find. So I called every special ed director in the state of New Hampshire. And how many people do you think answered into my call? 0. I followed up, though they were all in meetings. Of course they were. They weren't. They were just like, no, no, I don't want to talk to her. And then I followed up with a packet in the mail, like pretty, like I had cards, and the cards matched, and even the paperclip matched, and the markers matched that I wrote in, like signed in the color, that, and it all like was beautiful. It looked like I was in a stationary event planner. Nobody, I got 0. Then I emailed all of those people, and I got 2 people who I had known from teaching kindergarten. And I thought, well, you didn't answer me the first time. You know what my name was. So I went from 2, and then I did workshops at the kindergarten I worked at. It was terrible. I used to be like this. And I had to do PowerPoint. I was just like, so we're going to talk about the dominant driver, risk taker, self-starter, strong-willed, feisty child. This child, like, I talk like this behind my, and I was like so nervous. I was like sweating through. And I remember the one where I would like use humor and people were laughing, and someone's like, oh, it was funny, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be funny. But that was like a year into it, and I thought, good thing in this field there's a lot of people who are boring that do workshops. Yeah, I invented those. And I thought, right, and I made it past a year because I was just boring with everybody else. And then I'm like, okay, now I refuse to be boring. If you were looking at it, you weren't hoping for boring, right? No, because if you were hoping for boring, I'm not the girl. So when people say, right, I talk to you, so I'm like, when people say I want something that challenging behaviors, I'm like, you don't want sticker charts or those reward system things which are traditional in what you get for help. But if you needed help in your classroom, and you're like, oh my gosh, we have to call somebody. Remember? We can just call someone. You call someone, they come in and they're like, okay, so we're going to do this sticker chart. Are you thinking, you know what, lady? I can do a sticker chart. I can go buy them. I know about rows and columns. Rows and columns, right? You can do that. And then you're gonna, and then they give you this thing to check off about. I'm like, stop it. You want your business. Cut it out. Like, you want someone to come in and be like, okay, you know what pattern behavior that is this. These are the strategies that work, right? We leave education, our education with one toolbox. We're going to talk about 4 toolboxes, right? We're doing the D1 now, that dominant, direct, determined kid. So what do you do there, right? Know that if you are restricting movement and they can't find it independently, this kid's going to have a hard time. So in your toolbox, put movement. Which means what? Variation of seating in circle. It's not crisscross applesauce. I had kids that, if you sit in the front of circle, how do you have to sit in the front? On your what? Bum. If you sit behind the kid who was on their bum, you can sit like this. If you were going to sit behind me, you can sit like this. You cannot sit like this in the front. You can see. That's how it is everywhere. That's a real life skill. Then, I had kids, 3 boys, that I had to teach what body space looks like, how not to distract each other or themselves, like this. The entire time that I read all 65 pages of Temperament. I had one that did plank, like in yoga, like this, plank in yoga, the whole time. And I was like, I could do that for like a good 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad. And he would do it, right? And then there are kids that are on their bellies, like with their legs up, right? And they kick their legs down. And what do you say? No, you have to sit down, you're going to kick somebody. Tell people to walk. Oh, remember, he likes to sit on his belly. He needs movement. He's using his feet to pay attention, right? Moving and learning is connected in your brain. I'm using my legs to get my brain to pay attention to you. So don't stop the legs. Have the other kids move around you. And one kid is like, you know what, I'll just sit here. And he took out masking tape that was on our shelf. He was allowed to take it out. And he masking taped like an area. And he got in, and he said, I'm going to take up this much space. So he goes, guys, watch the tape. Which I wouldn't have done, because I don't want him to be in like a, right in like a box. But he knew, if I can tell them where to stay out of, I can do what I need to do. And I was like, dude, smart. That is smart. Know that they want out there competitive, they want to be first, best, fastest. What am I not good at? Still not. I'm still competitive. I still have to work on not being a good winner and loser. I'm starting to teach my son that now because he's also competitive. But I can't watch Little League. Right? I have such a hard time with it. Everybody gets a participation trophy. And you know what, people, I get feelings and I get emotions and I get empathy. I get that. But in the real world, that's not how sports work. So when you teach them that the Patriots go to the Super Bowl, because why? Not because they tried really hard. It's because they won. They practiced and they were good at it. And there are some kids that are good at baseball. Put them in something they're good at. Let them fall, right? If you were trying to get the ball off the tee, but I've swung 10 times and can't get it off and the ball hasn't moved, it is still on the tee. And then when I do get it off on my 15th swing and I go to third base, you might be good at something else. It might be this. Right? I've been in so many houses where the kids are like, you want to see my trophies? Right? Competitive. Yeah, I do. And I go and they're like, participation. So I don't know if they were good or not good. Because they all just got a trophy. I was like, you let that with everybody else on your team. The trophy business wasn't, right? That's what they're probably millionaires now. It used to just be if you win. Now you get them all the time. Right? We should open a trophy business. We would make a lot of money. And push that everybody's a winner. Right? I'm gonna get in trouble for that too, but that's my opinion. I have a hard time with that because it doesn't set kids up for the real world. Not that I want you to be mean and nasty, but if you lose, you lose. And when you lose, you don't get a trophy. And if you win, you get a trophy. I don't know, maybe not all the time. Right? If you win the big tournament, yeah, there's always a trophy or a. Right? When I ran track, we were 4th in New England. And I was like only a sophomore in high school, and I was on the team, and we got a medal, and I still to this day am so proud of that medal. Because we were 4th in the whole state, no, in all of New England. I was like the 4th relay team, meaning we were the 4th fastest. We were like, it was so exciting, it was so exciting. And I remember being proud of that, but I think it's because when you don't get to 6th place, you don't, right? We had years of 7th place, and we were like, oh, we need one more to get that gross crown medal, because what do you get at 6th place, right? It's gold, silver, bronze, gross, 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 and gross. I don't know. So, know that they are going to be competitive. So what happens when they go to line up, and they always want to be first? So you have to talk about line leader. So it's either that kid is always line leader on Tuesday, so you don't have to fight over it, but then what's going to happen? And be second, right? Because that's next, best. So what do? Sometimes you put numbers, right, on popsicle sticks and you just pick, and so it's random. You could be first 5 days in a row and it was just random. You could be last 6 days in a row, it was random. You're hoping that they're in different spots all the time. Because that kid is always going to be competitive, so you have to work around that. And when can we use that competitive piece? Find out when it's appropriate, and then teach him to be a good winner or loser. That's in our toolbox. We have to teach him to be a good winner or loser. I did not know that till I was in college. I was probably a poor loser till college, and I didn't know I was a poor loser. No one let me know that. But now looking back, I thought, oh, I cannot believe people played for me. Because I probably wasn't nice. I write a charming, wonderful now, but I think I was tough. Power struggles. These get you into power struggles. Hey buddy, it's time for you to go to the bathroom now, okay? What'd you just do? Turn your command, your adult directive, into a what? Question. In your toolbox, these kids are motivated by choice. So if you say, okay, they're thinking, oh, that's a question. No. Then what happens? Now you're fighting over what? Something you can't force, right? You're fighting over that you already gave them a choice. You picked that answer. You just didn't like the answer. Because it was really, you need to go to the bathroom. You said okay because you're hoping he picks the right one, right? and you're trying to be nurturing, and he says no, then what do? You stop and back out and know next time you're not going to use okay. It's time for you to go to the bathroom. You're out, walk away. Because if you stand here like this because he is determined, what are they going to do? Either pee on the floor while they're looking at you, or not go. I had a little boy that had that determined temperament for sure. And the teacher kept saying, go to the bathroom, let him go to the bathroom, time to go to the bathroom. He's running around the classroom every time he like went by the bathroom, go to the bathroom, time to go to the bathroom, okay, it's time, you gotta go, okay, gotta go to the bathroom, okay, and he just wasn't going. I was like, stop fucking over. And I said, bud, you gotta get in line, we gotta go outside. So that's where he wanted to go. So we went outside. I said, so just so you know, I realized you didn't go to the bathroom before you went outside. If you have to go outside, you need to tell someone. For about 20 minutes into being outside, he goes, I'm amazed, teacher. And he was like, yeah? And they went in all the time with kids to go to the bathroom, all the time. And he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And she's like, all right. Went in, they were in there for like 3 minutes. He ran, washed his hands, came back out. Why fight it? And if he pees on the playground, what happens? Right? You love outside, but now we gotta go inside and change. That's the consequence. You have to go inside and change yourself. You then have to, if you peed on wood chips, you gotta go and pick those up, you gotta wash your hands. Now we miss like 15, 20 minutes of outside time, and that's the time you shine. I might choose a different, right? Because these kids may do it on purpose. A kid with this temperament poop on the playground on purpose. Oh, it's fine. So what else gets you in these power struggles? No, you don't. Yes, I did. No, you don't. Yes, I did. No, stop it. Don't enter that. They know that you're going to lose. You should know that you're going to lose. These words. You want to take them all out of your vocabulary. It's going to be hard. It's like a diet. Don't do it all at once. Right? When you're like, I'm going on a diet. I'm not going to have sugar and soda, and I'm going to eat all fruits and vegetables. And then what happens? 13 minutes later, you're like, this is stupid. Right? Like I am off my diet. I'm eating donuts, macaroni and cheese. No. Stop. Don't. Yeah. And wait. So this, not developmentally appropriate, we talked about that right before. Waiting, you got 4 seconds, maybe. How many people are good waiting now? How many people are bad at waiting? Still bad at waiting. I see lines and I'm like, right, and I'm competitive, and I don't like to wait till the grocery store. It's always like, the first one, it's going to be faster. And when I pick the wrong one, I'm legitimately sad. I'm like, oh, I could have had 35 seconds. I don't know. What would I do? These, no and stop. So this temperament hears no and stop a lot. They go, no, no, no. Right, we're going to change the no to a yes environment. So in my house, my son always, 5 o'clock, can I have a cookie, Mommy? And you say, no, buddy, you can't have a cookie. We're having dinner. And what happens? Right, whining and down the rabbit hole. I'm so hungry. And I'm like, I'm starving. I'm starving. And then we go on to like there are people in Ethiopia who are starving. We're not starving, right? We do a big dissertation on starving. And the kids are like, I just want a cookie. So now when he asked, he said, you sure can, but after dinner. Get a plate, I'll get the cookie, we'll put it on the plate so we don't forget. And so now he doesn't ask anymore, he just goes and gets the plate, gets a cookie, puts it on the counter. But that's 2 years into it. These have to be saved for emergency safety. So if they got out of here and got out of the gate for whatever reason, right? The street, busy street's right there. When you go, no, stop! They have to know. Oh, that sounded like she's worried, I'm doing something dangerous, I need to check it out. But because they get no and stop all the time, what happens? There's nothing. They're just like, she says that to me all the time, probably something stupid like she always talks to me about. So they keep going. Don't and can't. You get to, right? These kids are like, don't touch me. I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. Right? You can't do that. They'll be like, yes, right? It just sets you up for failure. Don't can't. There are some temperaments temperament reacts to those words because it sets up that power struggle that is hard for you and fuels them. So know that power struggles aren't usually hard for that kid. It is what they're looking for. They like the fight, they like that action, they like that feedback. I used to do it to my brother all the time. My mom's like, would you just leave him alone? And now I would say, I was too little to know then, but I'm like, it fuels me. It's good for my soul. And my poor brother was in tears. He's older than me, but he was in tears because I knew I had a, I knew it. And he would try to do it to me, and I would let it roll off me. And he was just like, which got him more. Because he felt like, I'm trying to get her, she just doesn't care. My mom, for years, just don't care. He didn't know how to not care, because I love the fight. And he just put me apart. I promise I'm much nicer to him. Give them something to do. So the way they learn is bodily kinesthetic with the movement. So to say, this is a square. This is a triangle. Give them a square. Have them walk this. Because what happens? They have to do what? You have to write out it. But right, they have to like actually turn. And how many times do you have to turn? 4. So the 4 corners. That's what makes it a square. Right? Or have them hold a square. Or say, could you go find 5 things in the classroom, you go laundry basket, 5 things that are square. So not only do they fill the laundry basket, it gets heavier, but they fill the laundry basket with things that are square, but they're moving while they're doing it, right? Learning and moving is connected in the brain. So a triangle, like a triangle with points, and how many points does it have? 3, you can feel it. So I still don't know. I know New England-ish, put the states in the state puzzle. If you were to give me the blank New England, the blank United States, when I get to the Midwest, no idea. I know the ones that look like shapes, like Idaho, I know the shape. Wyoming, that's a square. I have no idea. Because I needed someone to put me in New Hampshire and say, how many steps to get to New Mexico? And then tell me about New Mexico. And then I need to, then give me New Mexico in a shape. And I need to feel it. And tell me stuff about New Mexico so I can remember it being the shape. Nothing. It was always blank worksheets and filling in. No idea. I have no idea. I went to Yellowstone. If you had me pick, so I stayed in Montana, but Yellowstone's also in Wyoming. I did not know until I got here. Just letting you know. I don't know which one's which. No idea. I don't know. I looked at Yellowstone on, they have this huge map, and I was like, is that where we are? We went that far? Husband and my father-in-law, who's really good at geography and history, looked at me like, I was like, remember, I'm really good at relationships. Not good at that. So these kids need something to feel and hold, kinesthetically, right? That is how their brain works. They are more task-driven and less emotions. So they're not, when you go like this, look at her face, she is crying, she is sad. That kid's like, well, because I hit her. That's why. And why is she sad? They don't understand emotion is not the forefront of their thought as it is with some other children. So what do we teach through puppets? We teach through others' experiences sometimes. We don't always have to teach kids when they are doing it. Because it's so close to them. I'll see kids like having a hard time at the grocery store, and I'll say, oh, what do you think you could, if this was happening to us, what could we do to make this better? Right, so now it's me and my son, and we don't, well, it's not like close to us, I'm not mad, he's not sad or mad, there's no emotion, it's us, like, right, of course we do it quietly so they don't hear, but we do it so it's easier to learn from other people. In books, we find out, right, their social and emotional curriculums, that sort of stuff. We have to teach these kids because emotion isn't at the forefront of their thought. Too many words, if we go into those dissertations about manners, they turn off. They also do this because they are direct. Tie it. Right? And that's always like, well, and you go into this big, like, 30-minute dissertation on manners. You talk about manners all day. You talk about manners every time you talk to him, and he's like, what is he thinking? My mom bought me tie boots. I can't tie them. 3, she's stupid. I need you to tie it so I can get in line because I want to be what? First. And Johnny is almost ready because his mom was smart and bought him slip-on boots. Tie it! He's not being rude in his own head. What is he being? Task-oriented. Do it now so I can get in line. He doesn't know because he's little and he doesn't have enough experience and he hasn't learned the strategy yet that if I said, could you please tie my shoe? You would tie it and he could go. The quickest way he can think of is tie it! Or you get the applesauce that's like shoved in your face and you're like, woo, okay. Nope. So what do we do, preferential language? I hear you best when you say, could you please tie my shoe? You go up, you tie your shoe, go. You don't make him say it at first. Because what happens? It's another thing you can't control. I can't make her talk. I hear you best when you say, could you please tie my shoe? You've taught him manners, you've taught him preferential language. You line up. Right? Over and over and over and over and over again. Now your two best friends are time and patience. Until your eyeballs want to fall out of your head, you're going to do that. You line up. I don't know, 3 months. Check back in 3 months. See if he's learned the skill. If he hasn't, you change that preferential language to tie it. You know how I hear you best. Shut up. Turn around and walk over. And he'll either come and ask you to tie it because he's known the skill and he's figured it out, or what? He's not going to ask. You can't make him talk, so what happens? He's going to line up with the shoes untied. He might fall. Natural consequence. He might fall anyway. Right? I'm not saying kids, we should set up kids for failure and let them fall. But right, how many shoes have been untied? 1,000 million shoes every day, all the time. And if he doesn't want his shoes tied, he doesn't fall, then why are we fighting over it in the first place? If he doesn't want to wear a coat outside and it's cold, and he's not cold when he gets outside. My mom wants to put my son in a snowsuit and a hat mittens every day. Woo! She loves when he's cold, because he's never cold. We'll go, and my mom's like, you came over here in no shoes. First of all, we live from like here to there away from each other. And what? Yes, if it's 30 below, I'm not going to let him outside without shoes on, but that happens rarely. We don't live in Alaska. Like if it's 30, if it's 40, he's going 4 steps on the driveway. And if it's not that cold for him, it's not. If it's cold, he'll put his shoes on. It's hard in a child care center, in a preschool, or in a school because parents are like, you let him outside without a coat? We can't go outside when it's 30 below when there's frostbite. We can't. They put rules. So you got to figure that piece out because they learn best from natural consequences. Positive leaders, they want to be a leader. How can we make it so they're more Martin Luther King, less Hitler? Right? Both leaders, both successful in their own right. Not good successful, but right? Martin Luther King thinks he's successful. Hitler think he was successful? Yeah. Which one do we want? And Martin Luther King Jr., right? We want that as a leader. These kids sometimes don't have those skills yet to be that leader. So what does that look like? Kid falls, he goes to pick him up. That's the kind of leader we're looking for here. That's called empathy. You saw that he was hurt and you took care of him. I'm looking for that in that classroom. Thank you, bud. Right? It teaches him what? It's a leadership program. Oh, I could be a leader in other ways than just, you're going to be my friend and you're not playing. You're going to be my friend. I think you spell that. Like, I don't. Right? But it's not directive and I'm in charge. It can just be that I'm the person who takes care of you. That makes it a leader. They don't know that necessarily yet, right? That's more emotion, and that's not the forefront of their thought. They don't have many friendships. It's okay with them. The friendships they pick are the kids that will acquiesce to their demands. Always. Almost always. They will not pick themselves. That is the hardest one they'll fight over power. I can't be in charge of you in charge. How many in charges can you have? Never. One. I want it to be me, you want it to be you, it's not going to work out, so they don't find each other. They find the one that's like, I'm getting up with you. So in your setting, you want to take these kids outside as part of your curriculum. You want blocks. And you want woodworking. As they get older, woodworking would be best if it was real woodworking. You have to take all the safety precautions and all that business, but I did it in kindergarten. We had saws and hammers, not out all the time. We had sanders, we had all sorts of stuff. Those kids are drawn to those things. So blocks is closed, it's raining outside, you don't go outside and you're scared of woodworking. Where's this kid successful? He's just running around the classroom, being smart. Why? He hasn't been outside the whole month of February. Blocks is always closed because he throws them. And nobody wants to teach him the skill of how to use the blocks. We're just going to kick him out. And I'm scared of woodworking. Kids have a hard time. There's nothing that fuels him, right? It's not what he's interested in. So this next temperament is myself. They're influencing, inspiring, talkative, interesting, and impulsive. That is so true for me. And playful. I am that kid. When I take this assessment, and this, I write that. And this one, if I take the assessment, I'm 100. 100 is as high as you can get. My red bar graph goes to the very top. Right? I knew the first time I learned this, and I heard this one, I was like, oh, 100% me, I didn't know how high it was. And every time I've taken it, it's been at the very top. Other ones have fluctuated a little, that one is always way at the top. Which is sometimes more overwhelming than others. I didn't know that until I got into behavior. Whoopsies. We are motivated by acceptance, so we thrive on compliments. So people at the end of workshops say like, oh, that was real good, or send me an email or something. I'm always like, oh, thanks, that made my day. And I'll try to like make it sound like, oh, that's wonderful, oh, I'm so glad you liked it. Inside I'm going, yeah, woo! Because I would hate to waste your day. It's beautiful, or really not, but beautiful out. I would hate at 6:30 to 8:30 or 7 to 9. Somebody opened the center and stayed all day, went home, took care of their family, came back to the workshop. I would hate to waste your day. And be like, oh my gosh, I got nothing out of this. This is terrible and awful. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So when people say things like that to me, I always say, I don't need those ad girls. I'm honest now. I like them. And it fuels me to be like, okay, what I did in my little crazy bonkersness like worked. And I liked it. And they liked it. And it felt good, and they felt good, and I'm like, okay. So what do we do with those kids? It's 4 times more encouragement than praise. So praise is good job, which is really hard to say genuinely. Good job. And the kid's thinking like, you don't mean that even a little bit. But what is it? Kid finally zips his coat. He gets in line, and you go to zip it. And he goes, I zipped it already. What? You could just say, good job, and walk away. In kindergarten, first of all, I used to sing a song that says, I remember when you couldn't do that, I remember when you couldn't do that, I remember when you couldn't do that, when you couldn't do that at all. And the kids were like, right, that kid's like, yeah. Make sure it's the kid that likes the compliments and the encouragement. Otherwise, they're like, but for me, I knew which kids it was. And they were like, or I would say, you know what? You worked hard at that. We're looking for kids in this classroom that work hard. And you're doing it. That's the kind of classmate we like here. Thanks, buddy. I'd high-five him. A lot of people have to go, like, have like a phrase because it's hard to like come up with that really fast. So how do you get from good job to what I just said? It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of like stumbling over your words. I think the kids appreciate you trying to go beyond good job. Because good job, if you sound like a 2nd grade spelling test sticker, like fantastic with like a shooting star, stop it. Go beyond that because these kids are motivated by that. I I love when I get someone who wants to do a workshop, but the first part is, I've taken someone just emailed me the other day, they said, every time my staff come back from your workshops, they're so fueled and fired up, and I can see that they're in the classrooms, they're so wonderful, they have all this stuff going on, and I would like to give you as a gift to my staff in December. So now it's a surprise that they have a staff meeting, but they don't know I'm coming. And I'm like, oh, I love that. But I love them when people like, I saw your workshop, it was really great, we'd love to do another one. Even that little bit fuels me. And I thought it didn't, and I tried to pretend like it didn't for years and years and years. But that's what keeps me going, is that people give me feedback that it's working. Because if you didn't, for some people are like, doesn't matter, I know it's right, it's fine. I don't need your feedback. I do. I like the feedback. And there are kids that will do things like right in front of you to get that feedback. And you're thinking, ignore them. They're so motivated by like, just say something, please. Say it. Right, my son will do something and like build something and like, like waiting for me to look. Or have his paper like, he wants me to say, what's that, buddy? Look like you worked hard on that. Come over and tell me about it. That's what he wants me to say. So I have to like stop making dinner or get off my phone or whatever, right? And give him that. This is the temperament that likes incentives. So for me, I'm not awesome at doing, like, I have to do reports. They could take me 2 hours. I know that if I can pay 20 minutes and then I get to look on Facebook or I get to go over to the beach for a couple minutes, or like I need to give myself an incentive because I can't just sit and work for 2 hours. Some can, I can't. So I know that I have to give myself something to do, like, oh, I'm gonna, after this, like I already gave myself an incentive here, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna do the video, which sort of makes me nervous and uncomfortable, and then I'm gonna go home, I'm not gonna pick up my son yet, I'm gonna get a coffee, and I'm gonna set up a control. Like, I've earned it, I feel like. But right, it's not a sticker, it's like, because I'm not going to work for a sticker. I would work for donuts, though. Because I never come back, I like donuts. So, right, if kids are old enough with this temperament, like, okay, but I know this is hard for you, but let's work on this, and then what's going to fuel you so you can come back and work on it again? See how it's not really anything like a sticker chart, but they want like a, and some kids will say stickers. It's okay if they have stickers. If they pick it, yeah. And if it's really fueling them, we're thinking, for me, I'm like, really, stickers? Because I used to joke about chocolate coconut donuts are my favorite. And kids used to bring me, like they'd go to fairs and stuff and bring me chocolate coconut donuts. I was like, oh, I should have said BMWs or Mercedes or right, I should have like loved something like Prada boots or said in front of me kinds or jeans or something, I don't know. But they were donuts. I was like, darn. Right, I always got donuts. And my co-teacher liked coffee, so she always got coffee. And I was like, They think verbally, so we think out loud. Both temperaments, the D and the I, are external thinkers, which means I think out loud and I show my emotions out loud. Which means what? When I'm mad, as a behavior consultant, I still want to what? Hit and push and throw things. I can't, because that, first of all, make me very good, it would make me unsafe, I would have a job. But it doesn't mean my brain was built like that. My brain was built when I'm mad to want to take stuff and throw it or smack you. And I know when I've had a lot of time where I'm like, okay, I have to calm myself down, it's not a big deal. I will dream in my head about being with my high school friends. It's a reoccurring dream where I beat them up. And I wake up in the morning like, ooh, Floyd would have a good time with that one. So thinking like, right, I chicken would do like this because I've kept you all in. And I don't know how to like get it out. People are like, do you want to exercise? No! I do not want to do that. I want to like, I have to do something. If you see me do this, it's because I'm mad, my hands, or if I sit on them, or if I'm like against a table back like this, it's because I'm trying to like figure out what to do. So if I can't use my hands, which you can't do inappropriately, of course, I want to say bad words. Anybody say like the F word? You're like, yes. Makes you feel so good. No, guess what? Oh, it makes me feel so good. But you can't do that either. So I'm in a school, I have hard kids. I'm at home, and my son's having a hard time, and I can't use my hands and I can't say the bad words. What do I have to do? You show anger in your mouth, your hands, and your feet. It's not my feet. I ran track for 12 years. I do not feel like running ever again, actually. I don't want to run, and I only ran like 100 meters, so I didn't. Like, you want to go for a run? No, I know. But you know kids who do, right? They try to escape. So, we think outwardly, which means I tell the story all the time. I'm talking all the time. You teach me something, I need to talk about it. And then when I'm mad, this temperament is verbal, so we say bad words. We say, I hope you die, I'm going to cut your head off with a knife. We say those really scary, dangerous things. Sometimes it's, or you have to look further into that, we wouldn't stop there, but sometimes it's temperament. I want to really scare you, I want to like make you nervous, and I'm really mad at you, and that's what I got. Yeah? Are some kids like that? And then this kid, hit, punch, kick, throw. They're physically external. So we have to watch out for that. Highly social and persuasive, so they want to know who's here today. Everyone is their friend. You have my email and phone number on this on purpose because you never know when you might want to be my friend. I always say, text me the poop emoji. I think it's funny. Right, like I like to collect friends. These kids come in, and if their best friend's out there, what, right? Worst day ever. Their friends out there. They're always like, who's here today? They want to know who's in their class. They want to know who's coming, who's not coming, what teachers are going to be here. They're friends with all the parents, right? It's these really social kids. They talk all the time. Doesn't matter where you move them. If you sit them, if you were sitting next to her and you're talking, a lot of teacher strategies are to do what? Move you. What happens? You are now friends with her. And what happens? You get in trouble and I move you, and now you're friends with her, and you're like, you were just helping me be interactive. And even if I didn't like you, and I was like, oh, you're the one I don't like, I'll still be friends with you while I sit there. Because I have no one else to talk to. So what do? We teach them when to talk. I still don't know really. The kids in circle, like, I tell 5 times to talk in circle. You're going to know when it's your turn to talk because I'm going to say your name. Then you get to talk. And so I've had kids, I'm like 5 times, that's a whole day. We do that 5 times. It's amazing. So they'll be like this. And I'll be like, Johnny, so, what did you do last night? And you can see them go like this. So they got 4 more turns. And when they speak out of turn, what do? You just like I hear you. Or you say, oh, I'm interested about that. And I always have a piece of paper pencil, like I write your name down. Bugs, got it. Snack is after this, I'm going to sit with you, you're going to tell me about those bugs. They need to know, like now they're like, okay, I got to say a little bit. You heard me, and now I get to what? It's snack time, you get to sit with me and I get to tell you again! So exciting! These kids, and then what? 2 best friends are what? Time and patience. I still at 40 don't know. I'm working on it. Trying. Between myself, my son talks all the time, and I have a chocolate lab who will be a puppy the rest of his life. My poor husband. Right, I married very calm. My poor husband's like, because either I'm talking, or Brendan's talking, or the dog's like barking or snarfing or whatever he does, and my poor husband is just like, he had a totally silent house. Sometimes we lose it. We're like, where did Daddy go? Upstairs on the couch like this. I was like, are you sleeping? He's like, no, I'm just trying to find feng shui in his head. Or zen or something. We're just too much for you, little guy. So we are active, right? This is the outgoing part. We are active, energetic. We are the same way as that dominant temperament. We are kinesthetic, but only kinesthetic through movement, through learning. Give us stuff to do. This is my favorite part, is I do not have ducks. Do not have a row. I have squirrels, and they are drunk in my head. They're like this. So I'm looking at my watch, I'm like, oh, okay, it's 11 o'clock, I have half an hour, and I've got 2 more left, and like, say that story, don't say that story, do I have time for that story? Know that all of that happens in my head like this, all the time. So I am what's called a short thinker. My son made it up, I'm a short thinker. My husband and my son are long thinkers. So I have hired an artist who lives in the Philippines. The one I like, of course, has to be on the other side of the world. And I have something that says short thinker, and the font is short thinker. And then there are squirrels. There's one like this, that's wearing a unicorn horn. There's one doing the Egyptian, like one hanging out of the O in short thinker. And then the long thinker has ducks in a row. There's 5 ducks. 4 of them are going the right way. One's kind of going the other way. Right there, I'll go one way, and the other one's going the other way. And then the one in the O is like thinking, right? And so I'm putting them on bags and water bottles because I think it's fun. Because my squirrels, my husband was on a boat fishing, and I said to my son, "How do you think Daddy's doing on the boat? Think he caught any fish? How many fish do you think you caught?" Like 7 questions in a row. And my son goes, "Mommy!" And I was like, "What, Bud?" He goes, "You know how I'm a long thinker and you're a short thinker? You need to give me time to come back to me." Oh, I didn't know. Right? Like, I call it outgoing and reserved. You're more reserved and you need more time to think, but he calls it a long thinker because it takes him a long time to think. And I'm like, yes. And he goes, so now he wants to be just like me. He's totally about his spoiler like. And he's like, "Mommy, I'm a short thinker too, right?" And I'm like, because I'll ask them, my husband or my son, and they're like, right, they're trying to find their ducks, they're trying to put them in a row, and then they'll answer me like 20 minutes later. My squirrels have boarded and unboarded 7 trains. I am on something totally different. I have no idea what they're talking about anymore. I'm like, what are you talking about? But you see those kids who do that, and you're right, you have to see them think, and they're like, yeah, I'm on something else. That's how it looks like in play, right? They're like, right? They're just all over the place. And you're thinking, what is going on? And now you could just see they're like little squirrels around their head, right? And then there are kids that sit and look at the Legos, and they organize them all, and then they put them by color, and then they put them by shape, and you're thinking like, hope you're not planning on making anything. Because you have spent all day putting that together, right? So, the squirrels are up here, the ducks are down here. And right, and it's not in a judgment sort of way, it's in a playful sort of way. Because I think people have said to me since I've started talking about it like this, they've said, that makes so much more sense. And I said, so if you're keep boarding and unboarding trains while you see the ducks go in a row, you're more mindful of like, okay, like sometimes I need, like, anybody have a duck I can borrow? Because my squirrels are like, because I never send my squirrels out and ducks come back, ever. I send squirrels out, squirrels come back, and I was like, no, ducks, I need like the so I'm trying to do something that takes some thought and patience and like I've been doing recording for like 1.5 years. It's the first time I figured out how to put it on by myself. Because I can't focus on how to do the tripod and how to do the camera and how to do the start button and how to clear it and how to do all that. I just knew how to do the tripod and I was like, done. Then I had to get a different tripod and I was like, what if it's different? And I can't like remember it all. I never thought to write it down. So every time I download, it's a different way because I don't really know how to, I hope it's just like, go to my computer! Like I wanted to like clink, you know those like you can clink phones out? I want that to happen. I take the video camera and click it to my computer. No idea how to do it. I've figured it out all the times, but have I written it down once? No, because my squirrel's like, paper! Don't! So we like collaboration. To sit us by ourselves to do work, we will think of other things to do besides that. But no, if you put me in a group with a friend, you better stay close. Because what am I going to do? Talk about how pretty you are. And how much I like you and what we're going to do on the playground later. But I do work best in groups because I need to think out loud. It looks weird if I'm sitting over here, thinking out loud to myself. You're like, talk to yourself? Still, to this day, I talk to myself. Anybody? Yeah. My husband will go, what? I'm like, oh no, I'm just talking to myself. He always says, did you get an answer yet? But I have to, right? I have to. If you see me in my car talking, I don't have Bluetooth. I don't talk, in New Hampshire, you can't talk on your phone without Bluetooth. So know that if you see me talking ever in New Hampshire, I am talking to myself about who knows what. And I'm just external like that. So I need somebody to bounce ideas off of. I need people to, like, okay, this is what I think, what do you think? I need that back and forth. So these kids do too. Know that they don't know how to use it appropriately and know that they can get lost in the social piece before they get the task done. They are the star of the show, they're comfortable in the spotlight. Give them some times to do that. Right? They like these things. Creative messy. So what does that look like? Like finger paint and painting with your feet and shaving cream and putting watercolor paint in the shaving cream, right? We love all that stuff. Dramatic play, that's where they can be starting the show. Storytelling. So they have a good imagination. If you do not have this temperament or understand this temperament, you think it is lying, right? Because it's the little girl who came in and said, I was so mad at my dad this morning. And you know what happened? And I'm thinking, wow, I figured she got grounded or something, got yelled at. She goes, he turned into a fire-breathing dragon. And I could say what? No, he didn't. And what's she going to say?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. So now I'm fighting over whether your dad turned into a fire-breathing dragon. She knows he didn't. I know he didn't. What? A fire-breathing dragon? Did you get hurt? Are you? Right? We like humor with this temperament. Are you kidding? Oh man! I'm gonna go get a Band-Aid and a piece of paper and pencil. We gotta write this down. So what do we do? She tells the story, we write it, we act it out. I don't know, we make red shaving cream fire, right? Like, go with it. But the fighting over the imagination part, not worth it when they're 3, 4, 5. If they stay there and it continues into lying, which I've had like a compulsive lying, that's different than exaggerating stories. My stories not in my professional life, my personal life are always exaggerated. It took me like 3 hours to get here. Didn't? No, it did not at all. I had to get up at like 5. Did I? No. But I like to exaggerate. If I went fishing, how big's my fish? Show me. Yes, big. As big as my arms can go. How big was it really? I didn't probably catch it. Right? But I'm not going to tell you the story where I went fishing on this great boat and didn't catch a fish. There will always be a fish. And my husband will call me on it. I'm like, they don't know. They weren't there. They like the story better if I put a fish in it. Shut up. We have a positive sense of humor. We think we're funny. We use humor inappropriately. We like poopy head, baby face. Know that, don't put them in the bathroom. Because then what happens? Their body is in the bathroom and what happens? Their voice is out of the bathroom and they say bad words. Poop, but in the swear word poop. Or they'll just go poop, 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 poop. And then what do? You're in the bathroom. You're stuck. You're stuck there now. And teachers will look at me like, now what do I do? I don't know what happens when they use those words. She says they go to the bathroom. Oh, that's where they are. They're already in the bathroom. So we teach them the rules of humor. So what are the rules of humor? When is sarcasm funny? When is poopy head, baby face funny? Not at the table. Maybe not at school. Maybe at my house, not at a restaurant, not at the table. I am the biggest offender at the table, by the way. The oldest person in the house is the biggest offender at the table. I'm an alcoholic. But the other day, my goddaughter, who my friend picked me as a godmother based on like kindred spirits. So my goddaughter is like really feisty. leave and she always goes, poop bud! Well, she's in her house. No one can hear it. I'm outside the house, in public, going in my car, going, no, you're a poop bud! No, I'm outside. I always hear my son, not in public, mommy! Like I'll say something and my husband's like, we're at the table. I was like, but it was so funny. And we would have lost the chance and I had to say it. He's like, why do we even have the rule? My son would get off his chair, off the island, and go, poopa, and then get back. And I was like, not at the table. He goes, I wasn't at the table. Right? So rules of humor for this temperament, because we seem to go like way to the side of inappropriate humor. Well, at 4 was the end of the face, right? We can be disorganized. We call it multitasking. I know that there's research that your brain can't multitask. We just start things. We're good starters, not poor finishers. So we start stuff, and then we and then we start it, and then like so. In my car right now, I am downloading my Facebook Live video to YouTube. I don't know if that happened yet, but I started it, and I knew it was going to take. Like I started at 8:55. I knew it was going to take like 20 minutes, and I had to be in here before then, and I was like, I'm just going to start it. I don't know what's going to happen when I get back to my car. We'll be done. Because did I time out? I don't know. I don't know about any of that. I just started it. Finish that later. Or do it again. And think that through. So, now we're going to the more reserved temperament. So they're stable, steady, sensitive, loyal, patient, trustworthy. The judging word I put in parentheses because I don't want you ever to say that, that's why I put it in parentheses, but you will hear kids, fearful kids. So I want you to know it's this one, I just don't want you to call them fearful. Just like I don't want you to call feisty, what did I say on the other one? Flexible, they're more flexible. My temperament's more flexible, we kind of go with the flow. Only because we go with the flow, because our flow's going to change in a minute. Then we go with a different flow, it's going to change in a minute. So they're reliable and dependable. They will say what they're going to do and then do it. And if they don't do it, it's because they need someone to help them get there. They're pretty dependable and reliable. They're compliant. Watch out for them being blindly obedient. We should follow through. Kids from 5 years old and older follow through 90% of the time. That's it. So 5 years old all the way until you die. It's only 90% of the time. You don't want kids to follow through 100% of the time, because that 10% is dangerous, right? What's that 10%? All the abuses, emotional, mental, mental, physical, and sexual abuse are in that 10%. Like, I don't want to do what you're saying, but I have to do it because I think that that's right. Or I don't think it's right, but I know that you are telling me to do it. Or it doesn't give them a chance to speak up and say, no, it doesn't work out for me. I don't like it. They don't like confrontation, so they're not apt to do that anyway. So if we don't teach them the skills to say, even at 2, to say no, and right, and a lot of times we say no, thank you. If you say no, like no, you don't have to then say thank you. That kid can just say no. There's no thank you. There doesn't need to be a thank you. Because if I came up and I went to push you, would you say, no, thank you? We'd probably push me back, right? But I hear that all the time. No, thank you. No, thank you. I think we're trying to be polite. But sometimes it's just no, especially if it's safety. And for little kids, it's hard for them, right, when they're just learning how to speak. Just no. Or just like this. Like, I want you to be this far away from me, please. So watch just 90% fall through. If you have kids that fall through on everything all the time, always, you have to teach them to speak up and get their needs met in a different way. They're empathetic, so they wear their heart on their sleeve. When kids are mean, like if you are mean to her, and I have this temperament, I am so upset that you would be mean to her. It just doesn't make sense to me. I cry. One of my friends said she was trying to teach her son compassion, who does not have the temperament on this side. He has this temperament, and he's just very fact-oriented. So she's like, he's like, well, say things. And she's like, oh my gosh, he has no compassion. Like, he doesn't see it that way. He was not born with empathy at the forefront of his thought. He would like see it in another way, but he doesn't feel what those other people feel. And she's like, how do I teach that? We have to teach through task and fact. I want you to show somebody 3 times today by saying this, that you can show it. Right? He needs like tasks to do. He needs to know how many times to do it. It'd be best for him if it was a check-off list. Do that one, that one, that one. And she's like, okay. But she doesn't think that way, but he doesn't think the way she wants him to think. This temperament is empathetic. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They're sensitive, which means they cry and you're like, oh, like you're not my friend. You're not going to be my friend. And you're not coming to my birthday party. If I said it to this little kid who has this temperament, what do they do? Cry for 10 days and you're like, his birthday's in June. We don't need to worry about it now. But they cry and cry and cry and you're just like, right? And so how do you get them to overcome that, and how do you have, right, patience for the sensitivity? Sometimes my son, Mommy, I just want to be with you. Just go upstairs and get your underwear. Go. You could have gotten and had it on. We could be in the car. Let me just want you to come with me. And it comes out of a place of he's quality time for a love language. He just wants me with him all the time. Every morning he has to come to work with me. It's like, that's weird. Imagine a 6-year-old sitting right here. Like, and he'd be fine. He would sit there. But he just, and I have to be more patient with, dude, I am getting lunches ready, and I can't be here late. This starts at 9:30. I can't come at like 9:45, be like, sorry, I couldn't get my one kid out of my house. And I was just bringing it to my mom's that's across the lawn, and I'm a behavior person. People are like, probably not very good at it. You're probably not good at your job. So they work to keep the peace. They're always trying. So if it's like, who didn't pick this up? When kid comes over to pick it up, this kid. Like, oh, she's mad. We'll fix it. Just put it. No, you didn't play. You don't pick it up. And they're like, no, just shut up and stop yelling. I'll just put it. It's fine. I'll just do it. Right? See that kid doing that? So they hide. They're internal, so they can hide their emotion. These are the kids that have a hard time with bullying because nobody knows, because they see telling us confrontation, so they stuff it. And what happens when you stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff? It eventually comes out how? Big, explode, but big like, not like throw a chair, big like shoot and squeeze. Like really big. So like big violent. Fatal. So we gotta take care of these kids, but they become the invisible children. They just do everything, and teachers want lots of them. They're not always healthy. Right? Quiet doesn't always mean healthy. Because they're stuffy. They don't like confrontation. So what's in their environment? Board games. Right, they're the quietest of temperaments. So board games. Books. I had it right there, but I was trying not to look. Do you see my squirrels get corralled? Did you see them when I was like, and writing? Know if you want these kids to go to different places, you're going to have to put books and writing and board games in different spots. So if you want them to go to blocks and you're like, oh, you can do it, blocks is fun, you like it, but it's loud there, so they don't go, what could you do? Put some cool books there so they can sit on the edge for a little bit to read the books and sit with them, and then have the blocks come a little bit over, right? Put a little basket of blocks by them, and then, right? It's going to take them some time to get in. They're a little slower. They're good finishers, poor starters. So, right, they're poor starters because what are they doing? Putting your ducks in a row, right? And then when your ducks are in a row, they'll go all the way through to the end. My squirrels have been like, oh, we're lined up. Right? So the last one, anybody with me? Anybody else have squirrels? No, just, oh, you okay, I'm like, just me? I don't want to be the only squirrel. All right, the last one is the one I married. He is my opposite. See, I'm here. It's here. Know that this one is 100. You know what this one is on my, ready? So 100 is as high as you can get. 4. 4. And I thought it'd be fun to marry this guy. And his C is like a 90, 87, 83, 93, somewhere up 12. So what he sees in me, he doesn't get. What I see in him, I don't get. He thinks I'm pretty, I think he's cute, so we'll stick with that. Sometimes I look at him and I'm like, what? Talking. And I'm sure he looks at me thinking, shut up! Talk too much. So they're compliant, correct, analytical, careful, and precise. So they're the perfectionistic kids that will erase through the paper, that if it's not the way they want it, they want another piece of paper, they have to keep redoing it. They have Spider-Man picture in their head, and if they can't draw it as it is in their head, they get so frustrated. They know all the planets, they know all the dinosaurs. So I had a little boy with this temperament, he came right up to me this close. Social skills were not at the forefront of his thought. This close. And he goes, I know all the planets! Whoa. And so I thought, this is also the temperament that doesn't have humor at the forefront of their thoughts. So I plunked him here, and I think if I use humor and he doesn't go for it, I'm probably right. So I have to adjust accordingly. I wasn't even there for him, I was there for another kid, but this one was more conservative. And I said to him, all the planets, you know they kicked Pluto out of the solar system, so you better not tell me about Pluto. He was like, Mercury is the third planet from the sun. I'm like, nothing. It was just like, I didn't say anything, I didn't speak, and he just kept going. Planet puzzle, planet everything. He had a planet shirt on, he had a planet lunchbox, planet everything. And I thought, that's weird. Because you don't need to know planets when you're 4. You need to enter, maintain, and exit conversation and play. That's more important. He had zero idea how to do that. He had a little friend that dragged him around the classroom and propped him up and put a puzzle for him. And then she would move somewhere else and she would drag him like a caveman, like drag him by the shirt, and his face was like, and then prop him up. And he didn't say anything, he didn't do anything. He looked over here. It was tough. And I thought, right? They said, what do? We teach them social skills. If you do it through academics, that's best. But he needs a social curriculum. Because on this side, social skills are at the forefront of their thought. So what do? We have to, and tasks are at the forefront of this thought. We have to teach them how to be social. We have to teach flexibility of thought, because they're perfectionistic, they have a way that has always worked for them, and they're going to continue to do it that way. So there was a little girl who, her mom put pigtails in her hair, and she said, the bus is here, and it's the 25th time I've put pigtails in her hair, but she wants them just so. They have to be just so, no bumps, and the bars have to be just right. And she would freak out. She had that perfectionistic temperament. And I thought, she's like, what do? So you're going to start small. When she gets home from school, and you're going to play, and then when you go to get in the tub, you take tubs every night, every other night. She's like, yeah. I said, okay, so you're going to take her hair out, you're going to put it in one time, and you're going to put the bar in, and it's just going to be, and she's going to walk around the house and talk to people in her family and look in mirrors, and nobody's going to make fun or say anything. To just say look, nobody does anything weird when my bar end is a little bit skewed, or I have one bump. Nobody does anything weird. And she's like, so how long do I do that for? 5 minutes. For how long? I don't know, a week, 2 weeks? She's like, that's it, yeah. Because if you move any faster than that, with this temperament that puts their ducks in a row, their ducks are all going to they're all going to run away. She's like, okay, then what do I do? Then you move it to 10 or 15 minutes for a couple of weeks. And I was like, and then when you think she's got this and she's okay and it's not hair, now what are you going to do? You're going to transfer that skill of, it's fine if my hair looks like this, to something different, right? They're academically intelligent, so they know they really like to read and get facts, and they know they really good at Trivial Pursuit. I'm not really good at that game at all. They like to be alone. So tell me right now, when kids are alone in school? Never, right? Sometimes if they're pooping in the bathroom, but then you're like, are you going poop in there? We need to use the bathroom, hurry up. So they're thinking just, right? They're probably just like an adult, and they're sitting on the toilet, not doing anything, just being like, but they want to sit by themselves. They want to play play, right? One of the things they likes to play with is puzzles. If you have a kid who loves puzzles, he doesn't want to do it with somebody else. He doesn't want me to come over and be like, oh, what are your puzzle pieces? Can I help you? Can I put them in? And he's like, oh my gosh. And they're like, and for no reason he just freaked out. Nope. There's a reason. Too close. You're in my space. You're touching the puzzle. And I want it just perfect. And I have a way to do it, and you're messing up my pieces. Get away. But they don't know how to say it like that. Or I would like to do this puzzle alone. Or you don't know how to say that until you teach them, and then you're two best friends with time and patience. So they like puzzles, they like Legos. Know that Lego doesn't have an S in it. Plural and singular. Lego is a Lego. Sounds weird? Yeah. So I would say it, I always put the S. Some man told me at the end of the workshop, he has this temperament. He came up to me and said, you know that Legos doesn't have an S in it, it's just Lego, plural or singular. You could look it up if you wanted. And I gotta look it up. And I was like, okay. And then I went to joke with him, which should I have done? And I said, oh really? No, I'm probably gonna say the S because it sounds wrong the other way. He was like his eyes almost fell out of his head because he's like, you already know the right way, why would you? He was like huffing and like I think sweating through his clothes. Math manipulative, so they like tanagrams. As they get older, they like Sudoku puzzles, they like all that, you know, tanagrams are the shapes that make like, they have maps and they make, right there, they're right there. Oh, no, they're, yeah, like those things. And they like science. This is your STEM kid right here. Right? All the workings of STEM. They're always the ones that are interested. Then you have my temperament that's like, no, unless you're exploding soda, I'm not interested. They're even-tempered because they're internal as well. They stuff it and stuff it and stuff it. They're systematic. They like to do things in an order. They like to know the class schedule is helpful for little kids if they have this temperament to see it in pictures. Pictures of the real classroom with the real kids. So if it's like nap time, don't have a cartoon at nap time. Have a kid that you're allowed to take a picture of on a mat at nap time sleeping. Or you get down on a mat and go to sleep. Well, that's an intent, but we really do it, right? And then take a picture and use that picture for nap time. And especially if the kids are in it, they'll love, right? That kid that slept at nap time is like, that's amazing. They love themselves. They're egocentric. They're egocentric till after they leave us, right? Till about 6-ish. You know some adults that haven't got out of that yet? They're like, you're not 4. Step out of it. They're fact finders, so they're always looking. They'll hear a fact. They get to be the classroom cop. If you say, you have to keep your shoes on, and there's a kid that's like walking around without shoes on, who's going to find them? Miss Meg! Susie doesn't have her shoes on! And they get like really bonkers about it. You're bad. They can be artistic and musically gifted, so they're really good at that precise measure of stuff. They can sit for a long time and do art. I have a friend who does she does art. She makes an elephant, but it starts out like this. And that turns into an elephant. That's as much as my squirrels do. I can't, like, what? It's called something fabulous, I don't know what it's called. But it's great, and I thought, you have to sell that for $4 million. All those dogs, and then just like, oh, when I did that. So, the next pages are just, so, for you, you can take the assessment. This is kind of a free one. So you look at them and you're like, okay, so you check them, right? And whatever ones you have the most checks on are probably the ones that would be higher for you above the midline. And then, this part is interesting to me, so the interaction table. So I am an I, right? So see the 3 I's? Look at this. Styles, I, what's my husband? A C. The triangles, human relations, what did I do? I married somebody, human relation-wise, that is as poor as you can get. What did I do for work tasks? Good. They were pretty good at our work tasks, paying bills and all that stuff. I picked that, right? So how about the kids that are hard for you, if you look at the free one and do the free one for that kid, and then it's for you, so before you fill it out, if you were to like photocopy it, and then you see here, like, oh, okay, so I think I'm this, and I think the kid's this, or I think I'm an I, and that kid's C, or I'm C and that kid's I, what's going to happen? So then who adjusts? Who's the adjuster? The kid at 3? That's us, right? So then what part is too much? So I know my energy is too much for some people, so I have to, my humor is too much for some people, my talking is too much for some people, so I have to like figure that part out. Although people it's too much for, I married that way. So I think that that's helpful just for you. You can also email me to get, it's $13. The assessment is $13. You get something that prints out that's beautiful and wonderful, and it makes you feel so good, and it helps you know who you are. So, right, the first piece is the self-reflection. Like, yeah, this is me. This is how I'm going to adjust accordingly, and then, oh, that's why that kid is hard for me, because I am this, and that kid needs this, and I didn't even think of that till now. So you can imagine you get this in school. Should this be a child development 101?